Study session for April 30th, 2019 to order, and turn it over to Michelle.
Good evening. We're here to discuss the creation of an independent citizen salary commission, which would establish and review salaries for the mayor and council members. The purpose of the commission is to set salaries that reflect compensation for the duties of the position of mayor and council members, removing all political considerations from the process, as well as trying to attract qualified citizens into public service for the city of Shelton. The commission would meet periodically to study, establish compensation levels, and look at clear and specific data regarding the time commitments and duties of the positions that you all perform. Comparison study was completed reflecting salary and benefit data from comparable cities, and I know you have that spreadsheet in front of you. I found that the average council compensation, the mean was $393, with the median being $450. For the mayor, the average compensation was $1,198, with the median being $870. So if the city does choose to create a salary commission, the elected officials are paid the salaries established by the commission, although they are subject to referendum. If the referendum is not filed within 30 days, then the new salaries are effective immediately, except in the case of a decrease. So.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Jeff, do you have anything?
We also had a little bit of information of what the assessed values were amongst the various communities, so you could make that comparison, as well as the cities on your comparison chart that are either a city council manager form of government like we are here, or a strong mayor form of government as we see in some other cities. I think, let's see, Shelton, we have an assessed value, and these are for 2019 budget purposes, 712, there's too many commas in there. 712, $548,758. In comparison, we have Kelso would be the highest among this range. Kelso is a city manager, or council manager form of government, similar to us, but their assessed property value is $871 million. And on the low end is Hoquiam with they have a strong mayor form of government, and their assessed value is $442,292,250, with all the others within that range. And there is pretty much an even split between whether it's a strong mayor or a council manager form of government. With that, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, I could start the conversation because this kind of came from my conversations with Vicki. Look, when we started this, the plan was, and just to re-educate everybody with what I said before, is she said, here's some comps and stuff. We need to set a salary for the new council. And then, we need to do that like now because of the time constraints. And then when the new council is formed, then the way you do this is you get a salary commission to come and, explain, to look over things and to come up with the correct salaries. Okay. I'm a little shocked at how low the council salaries are from this list, but I was not surprised to see the mayor's salaries. At previous meetings, I have mentioned the fact that the requirements of a mayor of even the size of a city of Shelton, Washington, if you really want to get involved, those time allotted to the different functions. I mean, you have the ribbon cutting things, and then you have, the honorary mayor comes and, greets Denny Heck when he comes to town. And you have the, I just know that as a mayor, my time was triple what it is right now, at least. And that I think in order to, whoever is mayor after Bob, and even now, but it probably would not be anything retroactive. I definitely think 500 is extremely low, as it's kind of proven here by these other things. So, I don't know, I just throw it up because it was explained to me that this was the way it was gonna happen. It's just like, kind of like, well, this is what you would do. The other deal is we set those, and we didn't do any massive studying or anything on what those would be, and we didn't think much, I don't think, about the mayor's salary separate. So, having said all that, we have to figure out what we want to do, because I think the most important thing is whoever is the mayor needs to have good compensation for what they're doing. If they're gonna start going to, you could go to a meeting a day, an event a day, 365 days out of the, you get invited to everything. Don't you get them in your little mailbox? You do, don't you?
A lot of people
And you
get
don't-
invited to lots of things.
And you don't have to go to those, but, I went to a lot more when I was mayor than I am now. So that's my story, so I just throw that up.
Okay. Comments on setting up a salary commission?
Well, if we set
Questions
up,
or comments?
I'm just a little concerned about time constraint on that. We're not gonna get a commission formed before the election, before the
Yeah.
primary.
I don't
So-
think there's any way this is gonna happen for this election. We're
Okay.
thinking, whether it's formed or not this year, it'd be for the future.
It'd be for the
wh-
future.
Whether Shelton wants a salary
Okay.
commission.
Well, he's looking at this chart here, you look at Chehalis is pretty low, but then you look over here and they throw in benefits, so I would assume that's about $1,000.
No,
that's
it
paid
says
by
it's paid by the
council
council
Yeah, can I
member.
clarify
Yeah.
that?
It's-
What's that?
It says it's paid by the
I did
council member.
clarify.
Where does it say that?
Far right
Right.
corner.
Clear it under the notes.
Oh, by council member, okay.
So my read of that, they can participate in the city pool, but they carry the whole cost of
Right.
it. Yeah.
And as a council, in order to participate in the city pool with AWC, for benefits to be offered, over 50% of the council needs to opt in for the plan. So if there are a 7-member council, at least 4 members need to be on the plan. If there aren't 4, then at the beginning of the next month, if 1 or 2 would drop off, then the plan is null and void.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
so the previous 3 had been grandfathered in.
Another way to possibly look at this, and again, I don't know, I don't really care because I'm going to be gone. It won't affect me at all, but it is possible that if we did not set this salary commission, then this group could choose to win in January 1st, whether it's Bob or anyone else in this group is not then appointed the task of being mayor. We could choose, aside from this, to I think, offer a higher financial package to whoever's going to be mayor for the city. This has happened with Scott Hilburn when he was kind of going to retire out of this position. He thought, we really want to have some financial incentive to do this, and they did it without any salary commission. So my main concern is that the mayor has some financial compensation for the amount of work that it takes to be a mayor for a city. I think that's my main concern. As far as the other people, to me, it looks like they fall in to most of the other lines. So would that be a possible option that if we chose to do that? Maybe we say, no, we don't want to do that. But I think the mayor's duties
We
in
would,
this,
yeah.
on this council can be a lot more than what most of us are doing.
So, just as a point of clarification, I don't believe you have to have a salary commission. The council could absolutely do it themselves. But any change could not take place until the following election. So after the election took place, then the change would go into effect.
Right, absolutely. Well, the next election.
Which would be November,
Right.
the November election.
It's,
In-
I believe it's the election for the member that's being changed.
Right, so you would,
It is.
so during your term, you would not see a change in your salary. Right, if the council were to change it, and it would have to be a voted on change.
Correct.
Right.
And I just want to clarify something, since Councilmember Krantz is focused on the mayor. The list here that has fairly significant, that raise the average of the mayor's salary, those are probably mayor, council cities, I'm assuming.
Strong.
So Yelm is 2,500 per month,
That-
and that is a strong
Strong
mayor.
mayor.
Sedgwick-Woolley is at 2,301 per month, and that is also a strong mayor.
Right.
So all the other ones are council managers.
And that's the point I want to make, is we now, with a manager council, the mayor is part of the council. He's selected by the council. He has presider duties and ceremonial duties, but it's not anywhere close to what it was in the commission. So I'm just making that statement that I'm not sure we can use past mayoral duties in Shelton to look forward to the current mayor, because if you're asking me to
Yeah,
attend more events,
sure,
I
sure,
hear that, but
No, no, I'm not
but
asking
the
you.
responsibilities
No.
are completely
Yeah.
different,
Yeah. But
under
I,
either form.
to beg to differ on that one, when there comes to an event or someone to sign the paper or someone to meet somebody, generally speaking, they ask for the mayor to do that. I'm sure that, you know, that they don't ask for a council person to come and do that. And that taking your opinion and canceling these higher priced ones, still the others are between $800 and $1,200, it looks like, dollars, or $700 to $1,200, which is almost double what the normal. I'm just saying, that's what I feel, you know, that that is my main probably concern about this, that who wants to perform that duty, you know, I mean, all the other cities pay more for their mayor, I think, than except for Shelton, and we didn't really think about that much. So, I mean, if you want to follow the crowd, which we all want to do.
So that would be a topic for the future, correct? So going back to the topic for today, about salary commission. Do you want to, further discussion on that? What, again, with the idea that it's not gonna be implemented immediately, but long-term, whatever long-term means, next year or whenever, do we want to implement a salary commission for Shelton? Councilmember Schmidt? Didn't mean to put on your spot, I thought you were gonna maybe say something.
No, I guess I did some reading on this, and it's not a requirement. It's not, it sends a weird message. I'll be frank about it. It sends a weird message that we're looking for pay raises or something like that. And that's not what its intention is. And his intention is to have a democratic way of applying, you know, fair and comparable salaries to the elected body of the city. However, that's not the message that people hear, and I don't believe it's probably an appropriate time to do that. And especially after seeing the comparable numbers, which is now all public record, of course. I think we're doing just fine the way we are, without the commission established. The one comment that I'm interested in maybe discussion on is, it was brought up a couple different times, I think, is to find qualified candidates. Trying to understand what that means. What does that mean to you guys?
Quality.
Quality?
Well, to me, it means not retired or rich. So,
Okay.
I mean, like people to actually give up their job, or, I guess now it's different than the commission, but I just think that if you don't want somebody that's retired or rich, you should maybe offer a little bit more. I don't need it, you know.
I'm
just
gone. I'm only doing this because I really feel the mayor.
I know you keep telling us about how you're gone, but you're still here. So,
9 months, I'll be
so
gone, so.
I'm just curious. When it comes to a recruiting tactic, again, I think you got to be careful about how that's phrased.
Yeah, how it's worded, yeah.
How it's worded. I don't want to I don't want to detract anyone from wanting to run for public office
Correct.
because we don't pay enough or we pay too much. I think that's a delicate line we gotta walk on that, I think. You know,
I also don't, I'm sorry, Joe.
no, you're fine.
I also don't really have a dog in the fight here, but as I was elected a commissioner and my salary carried on till my term is up, just like Gary and Kathy's. But I also recognize the fact that Bob and Deidre do more work than the rest of us. And I don't know. I think Deidre is always busy doing something, I'm telling you.
But I would make the argument, if I may, that as Bob pointed to, the mayor and deputy mayor being members of the 7-person council and just being one of those roles, I would also say that we had the opportunity to not go forward during the vote if that was not a position that we were willing to take on.
Correct.
So
You could
those
abstain
responsibilities
or
were a
recuse
choice
or-
that we made. And I think there's a level of equality to that. As far as the salary commission, I like the idea of the transparency and the ability to reevaluate and have the public involved in that process. I don't know that now is the time for that or that it's necessary. I think we have a lot of things to focus on. I think we, quite frankly, haven't had even a full year yet as council, and I don't know that we have a good grasp on how the council will continue to function and if that is in line with the compensation we're receiving and how that fits in with comps. So for me, I think timing is the big issue. Sorry. My voice is still bug on.
I understand what Joe is saying too about how it might look to the public. But I also understand what fair is. And I personally think that the public would understand if it's explained to them. I mean,
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, compared to what the commission was, this is still kind of like peanuts, right? And there's a lot of work we do. We've done a lot of work this last year that, I mean, I was told today that, you know, the person I was talking to is just so pleased to see the progress we've made in a year compared to what it was. Well, a little over a year for me, but, so, that's my 2 cents worth.
Oh,
Well, the other, let me just throw this in on Joe's comment about this isn't the right time and stuff. Well, my deal is if you turn this over to salary commission, that tells the public, you're not in this. This is a commission that's gonna look at this. And based
Right.
upon, if they look at this, it don't look like many people are gonna get a raise anyway. Okay, so, I mean, you know, so, except for the mayor's position. And that's the only thing I have to say. If we're expecting someone to run the city and be the mayor and the spokesperson to do this, that I think they should get more money as it's indicated by all the rest of these. And if you don't do it now, you're gonna wait till next year? And then if you do it, then that, whoever is mayor after January is not gonna be able to take part of that, which means you're gonna have a mayor for, I believe, a 2-year period.
No,
Well,
it's not a salary commission,
Salary
no.
commission sets it, it immediately
It's
takes
immediate,
effect.
yeah.
If a salary, and I think a salary commission would come back with more than $500 a month for the mayor. I think.
So just to clarify, if the salary commission sets the salary, it's immediate, or the next month. If the council does it themselves, you have to wait until after the following election.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And we
if
don't
you,
know why that is.
if you wanted the next mayor of this city to whoever it's going to be, to get more than this $500 a month, then I think we need to make a decision. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, they could get it even if it was February, if a salary commission said in February wanted to raise the salary, they would still get it in February rather than January. So, I mean, it's,
but the question is, do we want to set up a salary commission? And I'll give you my 2 cents. I do not like salary commissions on any level. You know, they're gonna do exactly, we have 1 position or 2 positions, if you call it mayor and deputy mayor. They're gonna look at equivalent cities, that we're in the range. If we think we're super low or super high, we should take the heat and not assign it to 3 people, unelected people. And that's my opinion of salary commissions. And in this case, I also agree with Deidre, the timing, on top of not liking salary commissions, the timing of this seems inappropriate.
Because it's too soon? Is that what you're
It's too
saying?
soon. We were just elected on this salary, and everyone ran on this salary, and everybody was happy to run on this. I believe everybody was happy, and to me, the salary has nothing, if I was still working, the salary would not have been a factor, because I can't survive on $500 a month or even $1,000 a
No,
month.
you should be able to, just be fine.
It's the time commitment, and I think that's, if we can help with time commitments for people and not have meetings all the time, which I know City Manager Knighton is really working on, I appreciate that. I think that's gonna entice more people to run than getting a couple $100 more a month, because most people who work can't,
Yeah.
we're never gonna pay people enough to run for city council.
But correction, we did all run on a higher salary. It was changed before the election.
You ran
I paid a registration fee based on,
$500 a
on
month.
25,000 a year, yeah. It was changed after that.
Yeah, I definitely.
That's when you
Yeah.
ran for
I
commissioner.
definitely was under the assumption that it was, once the council was established, it was established at $500 a month.
Yeah, but when we filed, it was not.
Filing fees, I believe,
No,
I'm
my-
99% sure the filing fee was based on the current salary for the council.
Because I believe that was a big rush to get it,
That,
get it approved.
So, just on
pretty
the
sure.
research that we did, preparing for this meeting, the salaries were established on December 11th of 2017, and the filing period, if I remember right, was
19th to.
the 19th, it was Monday through Wednesday of the following week. I don't remember the
Well,
exact dates.
I paid on the higher rate, and and then Karen Hurst said, too bad, so sad, they changed it. But no, it was not a big deal, because I didn't run for the money, so.
Okay.
Well,
You probably did too. We
No,
probably all
It
did.
was $500, because I remember when they were discussing establishing the council and how much the salaries were gonna be set at, it was always that $500 number. Because it was supposed to be a cost savings to the city as well. That was the other piece of it. My other question with this is, what does it take to establish and then maintain the salary commission? Bob says Mayor Rogers says there's 3 members, but I was looking through some RCWs and it's like 10 or 9 or,
So
what are we talking about?
Yeah, the number is up to council. It could be 3 or 5, could be 7. I wouldn't recommend any more than 5, but you always want an odd number so that you don't have a tie vote. But it's basically established by ordinance, and then the council determines when the salary commission will meet, whether
Okay.
it's twice a year, once a year, what have you, and provides them with the resources in order to do the job, which is basically some of Michelle's time.
And the salary commission members are city residents, it's whatever the council decides.
No, they would have to be city residents.
City residents.
And they would be appointed by council to a term to be determined, whether that's a 4-year term or whatever it happens to be.
And I guess that's the other concern with timing. And I understand what Councilmember Krantz was talking about. I don't disagree with the formality aspect of it. I agree that we should not be setting our own salaries. We should not be doing that. We should have an independent group looking at that, and going forward, there should be some process to that. But timing is a little bit weird for me, and then the detail of how it's established is also potentially going to be scrutinized in the time frame. You know, who we pick to be on the salary commission will likely be scrutinized, and I think we need to think about that a little bit more. I'm glad we're talking about it. I think it's
Yeah.
worth the discussion. So
Michelle, have you worked, or Jeff worked with salary commissions?
I have.
Okay.
Not closely, but I have seen them operate, yeah.
Not, I mean, everyone's different, but in the case of city council member for Shelton, what would be done beyond what was done in end of 2017 and what you presented here as far as looking at comparable cities, what the council members get? I mean, wouldn't that be pretty much the extent of the research of,
Pretty much, yes, correct. You do the research of what's comparable, what's changed over time since the last time salaries were looked at, if anything, would be looked at. And what comparable cities do and how they handle this aspect of city council.
Also time studies into how much time you are spending on your duties, basically.
Could I throw 2 cents in here on this? Probably what happened is, it was a kind of a little rush thing, you know, this 3-person to 7-person thing. And when our past city manager, Vicki Look, interim Vicki Look, presented this, I don't remember much, we didn't have much conversation about, we saw some comparables, but we didn't see any comparables on mayor salaries. I don't remember. And again, being a past mayor and knowing the things I did and the things I didn't charge the city for what I did, and seeing what I could have done, you know, the continual requests of not being involved in a lot of stuff. So this current system of this 500 without the mayor's salary, I don't know if we had an option but do you remember Vicki talking to you at all about we could offer the mayor more money?
I don't remember
So it
that.
wasn't, so we weren't even, it wasn't fair with the way we even set this up.
Yeah, I don't
In
remember
that,
that.
in that regards, no offense to Vicki Look, I mean, I respect her and I think she did a great job in doing that. Were you part of that?
I don't remember ever hearing her say anything about the mayor salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand Bob and Deidre not wanting more money, I understand that, and they can vote present if they want to. But if we don't do it now, when is the appropriate time? Is it November and December, so that it's set up for new people when they come in? Or is it a year from now, you have the conversation again? My concern is whoever's sitting in the mayor's position needs to have a little more honor and respect for what they're doing for the city than $500 a month.
can
Yeah, go
Did
for
that
it.
come through clear?
I'm just gonna mention one thing, not just to correct something, because I reviewed these notes from last 2017. There was a reference to mayor differential in the packet at that time.
Gosh, I don't remember that.
I don't remember any discussion on it, but it was.
Well, there's 3
it was
people that were,
referenced.
either with the packets were.
There was so much going on back then that,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
You know.
it just didn't.
That's all I have. I just
Yeah,
wanted, because
yeah.
I thought I had seen that. It was
Wasn't-
not much, but
Yeah, I
there
don't
was
think
in
it was
there.
presented to us as an option.
So at this point, we can't make any decisions tonight. It's not why we're here. I think at this point, it's up to the council for council to direct us to create or research and create a potential structure for a salary commission and bring that to you in an open public meeting, or move on to other items on the work plan for 2019.
Okay.
And we can bring this back at a later date potentially, whenever council decides that's what they would like to do.
Right? What's the consensus of the group on those options? So either say no now, say yes now, or say yes, but delay till later next year or sometime in the future. For an agenda item, I guess.
I say for myself, yes, and delay.
Delay it?
So if it's a no now, it's never again. Is that the way you're
Well,
kind
I
of
mean, it
phrasing
could
that?
always come up, but I guess,
Yeah,
I
it
guess
can al- so it's a no.
if we say no now, Jeff's gonna take it off his list until the council brings it up
Yeah.
again.
And we'll develop a work plan in collaboration with the council for 2020, and that may be an item then, but that's completely up to you what you'd like to direct us to work on
But if we say no, it's off your work list until we
for this
bring
year.
it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a no.
I'm a no for now.
can
Yeah.
I change my,
Well,
Now
we're
that-
not voting.
can I change my,
Yeah,
now that I
just for the
understand
work
it a
plan.
little bit more?
Can
No.
you-
A no.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
delay
So
it.
what is it, what did you change?
Well, I said yes and wait till later.
Okay, so,
So it's not a work item.
Not a
For-
work-
We do not want it as a work item, so no need to put it on the
Right.
future agenda.
For
Right.
2019.
Yeah.
well,
so Bob, you were saying earlier that
Our,
But
Are we good with that as a group, to not having an agenda item? Or plan to do it this year?
I would say wait till later, but I don't know if it's a direct no. Because I just don't, I still don't think it's really fair for, especially for the mayor.
Well, and to clarify, no, in this sense, just means no, we're not asking staff to go
Do
develop
anything more?
Right, we're just
any more
waiting.
information at this point. It could come up again.
Yeah.
But at this point.
For the next 3 or 4 months, we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say no for the
It's
next
not
3
a
or 4
no,
months.
never.
Yeah.
Right. So when we develop the 2020 work program, if this is something that council wants us to put on the work program to consider in 2020, we absolutely can.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But what I hear is a consensus not to work on it in 2019, and that's fine. And when, you know, in November or whenever we're developing the work program for 2020, if it's something that council would like to do, we'll add it to the list and we'll bring it back as an agenda.
Well, I would not agree with that, from my position. What I would recommend is that if we were going to do this before I am gone, which is on January 1st, I think we should make it, be open to do it around that time frame, so that the salary commission would be something that would be happening in the next January, February, or March for the new people. But maybe that's a decision that the new people make, and if the mayor at that time wants $500 a month and to do all of the things that I think a city need done, then that's that mayor's situation. So, I mean, if I was to say no for 3 or 4 or 5 months, my opinion would be, I would still think this group ought to possibly set it up so that the mayor makes more than $500 a month in the January, February, or whatever the following year. And if it doesn't happen, I'm gone. But I feel that there's a lot of things that a mayor does for the city, and they should be compensated more than someone that does 1 meeting a month, and council meetings, and smile and hug babies. That's it. I've said enough.
I believe our council members are doing much more than one meeting.
We do more than 1 meeting a
And we
month.
don't hug
Even
just
more than 2
babies
meetings,
anyway. I
so.
mean, come on, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I gotta reiterate it because it keeps kind of coming up, but you keep saying to give the mayor more money. The salary commission determines, we're not setting up the commission
Right.
to get the mayor paid more money. That's not the point, right? So we've already kind of created that atmosphere. So by saying that, now that atmosphere's been created. So we gotta backpedal from this and try again.
Yeah, the salary
in a
commission
year.
might just, well, leave it just like it is,
Or decrease it.
Or
or
decrease.
decrease it.
Yeah.
You should-
You all-
that's
That
100
happened,
you all
but-
get a
Yeah.
cut,
So-
say,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Careful what you ask for.
that's right.
okay.
So do we have our
I'm-
consensus?
I think we're good with that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else?
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Tomorrow night at 5:50.
What's going on tomorrow now, yeah?
Yeah.
Code enforcement